Alex Witt did an interview with Tavis Smiley, and I think it was a pretty powerful interview, and his comments, in my opinion, were pretty much right on the money. Here is that interview.
I did something yesterday in Philadelphia. I don't know if I want to apologize for it, but I want to use it as an example of the danger threatening our country. Because the founders set this country up so that we could keep growing and being bigger and including more people. But we would always have to come together to make a decision that would move us forward.
Former President Bill Clinton yesterday at a rally in Pennsylvania expressing regret over the way he reacted to two Black Lives Matter protesters the day before in Philadelphia. Well, I spoke with Tavis Smiley, host of the PBS show Tavis Smiley, and author of a new book, 50 for Your Future, Lessons from Down the Road, about that incident and the way the Democrat race is shaping up. This McClatchy-Marist national poll conducted a week before Bernie Sanders' victory in Wisconsin, it shows Sanders and Hillary Clinton in a virtual tie. You got Sanders coming in at 49% to Hillary Clinton's 47%. Why do you think this is so much of a closer race than anyone imagined?
A couple of years ago, Secretary Clinton and her camp got a little disappointed in me, I think, because I suggested then that she needed a challenge from her left for three reasons. One, left to her own devices, she's a bit too hawkish for some of us. She's a bit too not progressive enough, I should say, number two. And number three, I thought that having a challenge from her left, Alex, would make her a better candidate. Clearly, her race against Barack Obama made him a better candidate. He's publicly acknowledged that. And so I thought that for those three reasons, she'd be benefited by having a challenge from her left. I could not have imagined that would be Bernie Sanders. I could not have imagined that this race would be so tight. But ultimately, it's because Bernie Sanders has been very clear about his mission statement. When you think of Bernie Sanders, you think of poverty and any income inequality and economic immobility. And that's what so many Americans are struggling against these days. So his message, I think, is resonating.
Yeah. What about the support that both have? Pretty high-profile African-American support, but where does the split lie?
Well, Hillary Clinton clearly has the breadth and depth of that black political establishment elite. Bernie Sanders has a lot of great support from Cornel West and others, but she's pretty much top to bottom. It kind of sewn up some time ago, that kind of support. And at the end of the day, though, I just don't think that black voters will vote necessarily in lockstep because the black political establishment says so. There's a distinct difference this time around, and this is so, so simple, and I feel silly saying it because you know this so well, but anyone who thinks that the black turnout is going to be at the same level that it was when Barack Obama was on the ballot is stuck on stupid. There clearly is going to be a smaller turnout. How much smaller, I do not know. The Clinton campaign has a very smart team running it, so they have to know that as well. So no matter how hard Obama campaigns for her, and she will have the benefit of having the first black president and Barack Obama campaigning for her. Bill and Barack will campaign for her, and yet, I think people vote their interest. And so Bernie Sanders didn't start early enough. The New York Times had a piece, I guess, a week ago about how one of the mistakes he made, so he didn't start campaigning early enough, because had he started earlier, he might be better known by African Americans. But when you look at what Bernie Sanders is saying, Alex, he's speaking truth to power on the issues that matter most to the lives of African Americans.
And that's exactly what a lot of people, including myself, have said. If Bernie Sanders had got his ass into the minority communities as soon as he announced, he would have been a lot further along, because the things that Bernie's talking about are the things that affect not just black people, but all people, but in particular black people, as far as the economic disparity between the various races. And the things that Bernie is proposing are things that are going to help everyone. And in particular, he needs to point out the help that his agenda would be for the black community.
And this week, in fact, to that point, you reiterated this warning to Democrats: do not take the black vote for granted. And you spoke about this issue specifically when you interviewed both Clinton and Sanders on your show. It happened about a month ago. How would you assess their outreach to African-American voters so far? And are they missing opportunities to reach a more diverse pool of black voters?
I think they're both doing righteous work and doing the heavy lifting that it takes to reach out to the African-American community. Again, Bernie Sanders, I think, got started a little late, and Hillary certainly benefits from a long-standing relationship that she and her husband have had have with the African American community. And so I don't believe, like the Republicans, they're pushing an agenda that is antithetical to the best interest of African Americans. But I just don't like this idea of black voters being taken for granted by one party and ignored by another party.
What about what happened in Philadelphia on Thursday when the Black Lives Matter activists interrupted a speech by Bill Clinton protesting the former president's crime bill?
I like protesters, but the ones that won't let you answer are afraid of the truth. That's a simple rule. Be afraid. Be very, very afraid. Because of that bill, we had a 25-year low in crime, a 33 low in the murder rate, murder rate, and listen to this. Because of that and the background check law, we had a 46-year low in the deaths of people by gun violence. And who you think those lives were? That mattered. Whose lives were saved? That mattered.
Opponents are saying that it led to more blacks being incarcerated. President Clinton made the point that it lowered the crime rate, which benefited the African American community. Where's the truth here?
He's nuancing his position. I love Bill Clinton, and on balance, he was a great president. I consider him a friend. I think he'd say the same thing. But at the end of the day, it was Bill Clinton who went to the NAACP last year and apologized for some of his policies. I would direct any of your viewers to a piece written by Michelle Alexander, author of that powerful book, The New Jim Crow. She wrote a piece called Why Hillary Clinton Doesn't Deserve the Black Vote. And the piece specifically focuses on what the Clintons did or did not do, as it were, around the issue of criminal justice reform and the prison industrial complex. And so there are a number of things that Bill Clinton got right. And again, on balance, he was a great president. There are other things he got wrong. He got wrong the welfare reform bill that turned out to be a welfare deform bill that's pushed more women and children into poverty. He was wrong on this crime bill where you had to get caught with 100 times more powder than crack cocaine just to get the same sentence. Hillary was wrong to refer to black people as super predators. Clinton was wrong on Rwanda. So again, I say all the time, these are public servants, not perfect servants. And so the black community ought not, just because the last name is Clinton, be in lockstep with her if she's not right on their issues. And again, people have to vote their interest, but people ought to press these candidates, black folk and others, ought to press the candidates on where they stand on the issues that matter most to them, no matter who they are.
Yeah, we should say, though, that Hillary Clinton has certainly said that she regrets saying that super predator statement, for sure. Coming up at noon, the rest of my conversation with Jeff.
All right, so I believe Tavis got it right, and exactly what he said. The Clintons and Bernie Sanders, when he was wrong, need to be pressed on the issues that matter most to us. But Bill Clinton, and I've said this in previous videos, he got that crime bill wrong, he got welfare reform wrong, he got a couple of other things wrong, and those are the things that he absolutely needs to answer on, and those are the things that this campaign needs to address in order to try to bring things back on balance, because at this moment, again, things are way out of whack as far as the criminal justice system is concerned. And now there are several states that are going to try to push welfare reform, which President Obama basically held up as far as work or school requirements to receive benefits. There are a lot of states now that are going to try to push back into that because the unemployment rates have dropped so low. Now, again, I don't have a problem making an able-bodied man have to go out there and get a job. Now, if they're wherever they are, if they are absolutely trying, to work, because everybody knows a job is better than welfare, and a job does a tremendous amount for a person's self-esteem. When you bring that paycheck home on Friday, you take pride in that. You take pride in facing your wife and your kids, and you're putting food on the table, getting the rent paid without anybody else's help. But sometimes that's just not possible. So, it is what it is. But more opportunity needs to be given, not just to black people, but people in general, because there are more white people that on the welfare rolls than black people, more white people taking food stamps than black people. So, they want to put a black face on all of the social programs, but that's not in fact the case.